Yeah, nothing I can. Maybe first day. Evening and welcome to the regular town council meeting for September 16th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to join me. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's really way up. To vote, all those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes from August 19th, 2025, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting minutes have been adopted. All those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes? 2025,
I know that it's going to be a new pre-K through 8 building. And so right now we're starting to think about siting and location of the building and some of these elements. The building itself is still somewhat of a blob, it's not, we're still working through programming and understanding what spaces are going to be in the building and going back and forth with the Department of Education. But some of the things that we've been looking at, we'll be talking a little bit about tonight. And so also as part of that process was looking at the site for the building. So we did a thorough site search and site analysis. And so that involved, it wasn't a foregone conclusion that we were going to be on the existing site. So we looked at the population centroid of the school district, and then we started to kind of expand out from there and look at some of the criteria that the school district had for a site search. And so that included things like access to public utilities. It included things like not being near a highway or a railway. It included things like, being in, not an industrial area, things like that, that might disqualify a site. And so that helped us narrow things down. And ultimately, it was determined that the existing site was the most viable site. So there were a number of studies that were conducted, including geotechnical studies. We did environmental assessments, we did vernal pool studies, all of those things, to make sure, again, that it was the most viable site. And so not only that, but one of the other benefits is that the existing site is already owned by the school district. And so there's no need to purchase new land as part of the project. So all of that said, everything was kind of pointing towards the existing site being the most viable option. And so right now, those are kind of what we know, that it's a new pre-K through 8 building. It's going to be on the existing site. And so as of right now, kind of the only concern that we have, and the reason that we're here, is the use of the school street as a public throughway through the existing site. So when we look ahead to the future and we look at best practices for site safety and security, our recommendation always is to separate out bus traffic and visitor traffic through the site in 2 separate loops. So, we know that, and I'm sure Sherry can attest that, at the beginning of the day at drop off and at the end of the day at pickup is really chaotic, and having that bus traffic and visitor traffic and pedestrian traffic all intermingling with each other can really be not just chaotic, but scary and unsafe. And so looking at separating those really is kind of best practices for new construction. And so what we would be looking at is off of School Street, off of Somerset, there would be a new visitor drop-off loop here. And then off of Heartland would be the bus only access drop-off and pickup loop. And so these would get separated, and there would be, I'll just talk a little bit about the site and kind of what we're looking at right now. This is, again, very kind of early preliminary diagrammatic layout, but there would be a concrete sidewalk connecting the two with tip downs that would allow emergency vehicle access between the 2 loops, and an access road around the building, again, for emergency vehicle access all the way around the site. There would be, we've already included some turnaround areas here at the beginning for public works, for a turnaround area, so they don't have to go into the site when they're coming to the end of School Street from both access points. And then we still are looking to have and are looking to schedule conversations very shortly with the fire department and police department to discuss things like Knox box locations and fire hydrant locations and all of those things. So again, pretty early on in the process, and so a lot of those conversations are coming and will continue to happen. But what we would be proposing as part of this would be to discontinue School Street at the property line from both the south and the east end of the site, so as to not disrupt any of the existing properties here. And then we would be, there would be conversations about utility easements running through the site as needed, because we know there are existing utilities there, bypassing through the site. And, we would be, you know, we would be open to all of those conversations and, yeah, so, a little bit more too about kind of, the site design layout that we have. So, one thing that we also think about is, how the new building can be built while the existing, schools are still operational during the year. So we would be looking at, a new building on the current fields. The existing schools would remain operational, and then once the new building is complete, then students would move in. The existing buildings would get taken down and then replaced with fields and parking as required for the new building. So, you know, like I said, you know, it's still pretty preliminary at this point, but we would be looking for some formal support from the town council for the discontinuance of the public throughway. We know that there are requirements dictated by state statute that need to be followed, and that would all occur after a positive referendum, successful referendum in the spring. But at this point, we would just be looking for formal support to move forward with the necessary approvals with the State Board of Education and other agencies.
Okay, great. Are there any questions from the council or the audience? For
So where exactly is it looking to stop coming from the Somerset?
Yep, it would stop, the right of way would continue up until the property line here at the existing school.
Where exactly is the property?
So where Bakery is, there's a chain link fence, you can't really see it because it's,
Yeah.
I think I just saw
I know
an
what the-
easement for the town
Yeah.
for the road work that they're gonna do. So that would come
That
right
chain
up.
link fence is above the property line
Yeah.
on that side.
Yeah.
And where is it on the?
Must be Maltese Trail.
Yes,
It's just beyond the trail.
yeah.
Exactly.
So how does so I see you got a turnaround, I'm assuming for plowing
That's correct.
on the Spruce Street side, but what about you got a similar one on the?
There's another one off of that access from Heartland as well. There's one in both.
And then. What's the plan for the heavy traffic vehicles during this construction time? Because those roads aren't really designed for all the traffic that's gonna have.
Good question. Doug might be able to, this is a girl from Gold Palmer.
Stand up if you want me to. Again, that's something we need to talk to Public Works about. I mean, there's no getting around it. The trucks are gonna go in and out either way. So, and it's definitely a conversation to be had. Relative to the conditions we wouldn't leave the conditions any worse than they are now.
That should be.
Absolutely.
Project, right, to just.
yeah, what's the,
It would be, any damage caused by construction.
Yeah.
and what's the timeline for the end of when does this whole thing wrap up? I mean, that's a $1 million question, yeah.
It's a ways out. Like I said, we're still pretty early, so we'd be looking at a referendum in the spring. There would be roughly another year or so of design and then a 2-year construction period. So
Oh, okay.
we're, you know,
29.
29, yeah.
Honestly,
About 4
no,
years out.
not as long as I thought, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's just good to know for repaving purposes and,
Sure.
you know,
I'm not gonna do much.
you're not gonna wanna do, we're not gonna wanna do much to those roads until the end, and then hopefully it'll time up that we would pave those at the same time. Maybe they're paving all this, and it's all kind of wrapped into one.
I was more interested in the infrastructure under the roads, sewer lines. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, preliminary conversations with the sewer and the water department, I mean, they're there. I mean, if they need it, and I know they were talking about doing a new sewer down below that lower left corner.
Through here, there's the
You know
easement
about
here.
Jim?
Yeah, no, where he pointed, they got a, is it a drainage easement or a sewer easement that they're
part of Birchwood.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got it there. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so again, they're,
Yeah.
they're improving it, so the sewer district is improving it at this point.
We would just wanna make sure there's nothing built on top of it.
Yeah, before I signed anything, I sent it to
Yeah.
CHA, so they would know exactly where it was going.
This easement, yes, we're
Yeah,
playing
we
around.
were showing a little MSAD, superintendent's office down there, and we actually moved it to get out of the easement based on that information.
Yeah, and like I said, any existing utility is through here, we'd be working with you on easements through the property, knowing that, like, they're existing right now, like that.
Like,
Upcoming power, like getting power there, does that pose any issues with power or anything like that? Nothing major.
No. Nothing that we've been made aware of.
Beautiful.
Any other questions from the council? None from the audience?
Just a quick comment.
Yeah, sure.
It should have been done like many years ago, just for safety concerns, so this is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Consolidating all that is definitely,
Your tractor.
Like, we're doing that.
Your traffic line there.
yeah,
In the middle of two schools is.
right, yeah,
In the fields. Most of the fields
Yeah.
cross into the.
Yeah,
yeah.
The school district has lots of protocols and they manage it, but it is not ideal and it is.
No.
Just ask my wife, she's the crossing guard over there, so she can.
yeah, exactly, right.
It does look like the sewer is only on the, School Street side off of Beltoma. So, I mean, off of Somerset.
Somerset, yeah,
There's nothing over on the,
correct.
Harlan Ave,
Correct.
Harlan Ave
There's
side.
nothing with the Harlan Ave side.
Yeah.
Water goes through,
It looks,
but
yeah,
Yeah.
looks like the sewer was replaced in 92. So it's fairly new compared to everything else. It's brand new. Yeah. Looks like water goes all, obviously all the way through there, but. You'll be working with Annalise and Water Department.
Yes,
Yep, anyway,
there'll be lots of conversations, but I think we're over. Yeah.
no doubt. Any other questions? Think we're good. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Moving on, we have another presentation tonight from the Heart and Soul Committee. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right, exactly, yeah, take care.
Get a 5-minute time and no.
Well.
Just kidding.
That depends.
Kind
This was kind of a scary topic to follow.
You're the man for the job.
Back when I was a lot younger, there's 5 or 6 school districts around in the state of Maine. that Had my signature on them when they built new schools. That was my job when I was at the Department of Education. It was from school construction projects, but don't tell them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing that. Pittsfield Community Heart and Soul. We are moving right along. In the packet, I believe you've got some notes that you've all had a chance to read and maybe memorize, or at least think about a little bit. It's been a kind of an interesting project. The time that this was put together a couple of days ago, there were 90 responses so far. I think we're now up to maybe 7 or 90. There have been some good, but I think it's been a real interesting experience for those that have participated in the surveys. And so you see some of the issues and some of the results that people are talking about. I don't know, off the top of your heads, is there anything on those pages that kind of jumped out at you? That either Well, there are a couple of, yeah, we knew that was gonna be there, but were there some other things that were kind of a surprise?
How much that was all that surprising, honestly. We
Because I think,
pretty,
so we've had some sessions around town where we've actually done some interviewing face to face. And so the most recent one was at the community event down at Hanson Park a couple of weeks ago. And we had 3 people on the committee down there interviewing folks that were there, and it was an interesting crowd because it was a lot younger. They were with their families and friends, you know, and I think, you know, that there was a dream that the Egg Festival was gonna come back. I think you've seen that a couple of times in the paperwork here. But some of the responses that people gave during those interviews were really quite interesting. And so, and some of those are reflected here too. Just a quick reminder that the purpose of this project is to, after we get some more, and the goal, I'm talking with Kat, she's our coach. We've got, like I said, about 97 done now. We'd like to get somewhere between 250 and 300 people from town. That was her recommendation when I talked with her on the phone the other day, to get a feeling of what people are really concerned about. Jack, the one that you sent out, is the last page in color or is it in black and white?
black and white.
Black and white. You must have scanned this.
No. Black
Does
and
it have
white.
a pie chart on
It
it?
has a pie chart on
Yeah.
it. It's in black and white.
Yeah,
Well, unfortunately, you can't see who's there. But up to this point, there's a pretty good representation of age people that are beginning to respond to this. And that was pretty evident that Saturday. And they had, some people had some really nice comments. Amy is one of the major players on this team.
I just feel like, I think we're targeting kind of a lot of what they want, you know, we're trying to bring the festival back, we're trying to bring on the movie theater, those are great things. The only other big thing that I've heard that everybody really wants that we haven't got yet is the hardware store. But, you know, it is nice to see that what people are really bringing to us, we're seeing progress with. The only other thing is we would like to do like a community thing, and have it, we would like to do a little thing with the community and have like an event or something, we're gonna do that. Because were some people that said town's very inviting, and others said, well, the town, they kind of feel like if you're not from here, they feel a little bit like they're not included, so we wanna get that together. And then we've also had some new people jump up that wanna be a part of this, so that's really great, you know, as we've moved on, we're getting subcommittees. And we like that, there's more people getting involved, not just us.
great.
One of the things that I think is interesting is the population in town is really beginning to shift a little bit. And just in my neighborhood, we now have 4 or 5 families up there that have children that are maybe under the age of 7 or 8, so they're young. So that really, I think, has some implications down the road. And if there's a hope at all of bringing other people, new people into the area, as we begin to, or as you begin to consider things that you may want to include in town activities, I think you need to think about that as well. The other side of the coin is my generation. And although it's not reflected in here, I've probably talked to 5 or 6 people, and their comment has been, is there any way to provide transportation for older folks who can't drive? So they can get, you know, true, the hospital doesn't have a van and pick them up, but if they have to go somewhere else, yes, there is the van that drives around and picks people up. But I think that transportation issue is one that maybe needs to be considered to some degree in terms of how is that offered, because there's probably, yes, there are people that are living in town that are my age and their children may live in town and they can pick them up and take them up to Bangor or something like that. But there's a lot of them who don't have family in town. And so they're kind of isolated around here. But my hope is that as we begin to develop and bring new businesses in town, I would really like, I can suggest the name on the front of the hardware store.
Not that I'll mention any names, but you know, Laux hardware store. But it's kind of interesting what people are talking about in terms of stores too, or opportunities. So that's kind of where we are.
And the one
Great.
thing I would like to throw out really quick is when we have our meetings and we do our events, I know Jack, you've been to a couple meetings. But if you guys wanna know when we're having them, it would be nice for if you guys wanna come and sit on one of them and see kind of like what we're talking, what we're doing, instead of us just telling you. You're welcome to come join the meeting, or even come help listen to how we're doing the interviews and how we're talking to people. That way people see your faces too and know that you're.
Our next plan, we are probably gonna have something scheduled on October the 8th. Now, it's gonna be something held at the Putter. And it's gonna be in connection, the Putter's having a night there where they're doing something for the soccer team over at MCI. But we will have a couple people there at the table set up to do some interviews. The other thing that we learn from other towns is sometimes to encourage people, we have to give away, because we do have money. And so we've had some gift cards and so forth, and people really like that a lot.
Yeah.
So I think if my memory serves me correctly, but I'm not sure about that. They may have given this out to you a while ago. Does this look familiar to anybody? No, okay. So I'm gonna give it to you guys. And you can actually, if you want to see the survey, what it looks like, just
Scan the QR.
just scan the QR code, you can fill it out. I think at the end, and Amy, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that at the end, you can put your name down, but you don't necessarily
Right.
have to, so if you
You can
don't,
do it in all, or you can put your name down.
if you don't want to, that's okay too. We're beginning to get some people who are responding to this, and what the note is that they're putting on the bottom is, I would really like to meet you face to face and talk about some other issues. So as we begin to expand a little bit and add some more people on the committee, it's better if you can talk eyeball to eyeball. But up to this point, I think we're pretty pleased with the results that we've got. Kat, our coach, is a really super person to work with and provides us all kinds of information to make it a little bit better.
So to keep him on
Awesome.
track, is there any questions you guys have?
Oh, I don't have any right now.
It's okay.
I think I'm-
So you guys,
We're good.
if you do the survey, there are no gift cards for you then.
Yeah.
Do it as you
Yeah. All right,
go from there.
thank you, Jan.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the town manager's report.
Few things happening. We've been talking pretty frequently about our VPI villages projects, and we had been hoping to get into the design phase this year as soon as possible. The DOT let me know that they're submitting another grant application that they hope to hear from fairly soon, that would, if they're successful, would get us going in that design phase. So that's perhaps a little sooner than what it might have otherwise been, but we'll we'll follow that pretty closely to, see if that's successful. But that may be a case where we would get perhaps more resources toward the design phase than we had originally thought, and may save us some of our match for the construction phase. That's a possibility, but they've got to get it first. But that's kind of a new development that I was happy to hear that they were resubmitting this soon to try to get design funds for that. Trying to get through the stuff we've set out to do this year. I'm going to meet with a crack seal contractor tomorrow and kind of go over some opportunities to get some crack seal done this fall. We had some money in the budget to do that. The other thing that I've got lined up actually tomorrow is to have the former reuse center building looked at in terms of what it might take to address the water damage and the issues going on there. Because until we are able to do that, if we're able to do that, it's kind of keeps us at a standstill there. We've got the rest of the paving lined up. supposed to be here to do the Arbor, Hemlock, Maple, Hamilton, and surface on Nancy Street. Week of the 29th, so last week of this month and into the first week of October, so they're planning to be here doing that. We got some bids on the agenda. We have a pre-bid meeting for Birchwood, and then the bid opening for Birchwood will be October 6th. Pre-bid meeting is next week. So we'll also be looking at that at our next meeting. We do have a Project Canopy grant. One of the first things we need to do for that is get an arborist on board. So we have to do basically a tree inventory and then some maintenance planning. We have into 2026 to do that. So I'm hoping to bring an RFP in front of you at the October meeting. And then also I'd like to include at the same time an RFP if we want to consider having a forester look at some of our land that we own in terms of what opportunity we might have for some forest management and some harvest plan where we may be able to actually manage our resource better and generate some revenue. So that'll be something that we'll have an opportunity to move ahead with if we want. And then I think at the last meeting, I mentioned that Angel had left us, move on to the town of Skowhegan. But I want to update you on, we have interviewed for that position and we have selected a very qualified and enthusiastic candidate. So her name's Riley Stock, Pittsfield resident, and she's scheduled to start with us on the 29th. So we'll be happy to have her on board. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you. There are department head reports in the council package for everybody to review. Do you have any questions? Nash, Jack? And we will move on to new business. Nicole, can you please read resolution 2593?
Resolved that the town council express its formal support to discontinue School Street where it traverses a parcel owned by MSAD 53 and maintain the right of way up to the southerly property line and easterly property line of that parcel contingent upon the state Board of Education's approval of the new school project and local voter approval of the project.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 25-93.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions from the audience on the presentation we just heard? Hearing none. Any questions from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2593, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2593 passes. Moving on to resolution 2594, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council accept the bid from Sergeant Corporation for an amount of $968,985 for the Main Street sewer improvements.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2594.
Moved and seconded. Annalise or Jack, need to speak on this?
I can do that.
Uh,
So basically, this project has been in the works for quite some time, as you know. We've been hoping that we would get a good contractor on it, and I'm very pleased that Sergeant, a lot of good contractors in the area working with them right now. They're very efficient. So they provided a price that's within our estimate. However, our amount of money that we had initially for the project was a little bit less. We had around $830,000 for construction. The original plan of what this was going to be was smaller. We didn't really know what we had for sewer, to be honest with you, in these areas. But I'm very pleased it was less than our estimate. Our estimate was around $980,000. So I felt really good about the price, and I contacted DEP. And they're gonna provide, if the town authorizes me to work on it, another $140,000 of loan. But it's low percent interest, 2.5% interest through the main bond bank, which is where half of the money for this project is coming from, and about the other half is a grant that we need to spend by next year, or we're gonna lose it. Because this project has been put down, picked up and put down for like 3 or 4 years now. So I think it's a fair bid. I was surprised actually at the price. I was pretty happy that day. I like it when bids come in good. And I highly recommend, them. They're great to work with. So I'd like to be able to award it to them. And the added amount, added about $8,990 to the future payment, per year. And we'll have to look at what that does, but the payment won't be due for a year after construction, but we'll just have to prepare, looking at the sewer rates and make sure that we plan ahead for that, if we need to increase it to fit this in. But just to be honest, so it wasn't a bad, good bid.
Okay. Any questions from the audience for Annalise? Any questions from the council regarding?
When is this, scheduled to start, and when do you think they would start?
My understanding from talking to them after the bid opening is the only thing they probably would do this year would be the lining, maybe in front of Chimborough. This is just like a little bit of sewer lining that needs to be done where the sewer's kind of caved in, but it's under the concrete road. Otherwise, we would have just fixed it by now. That part they are considering maybe doing this year. They also talk about maybe doing some of the cross-country this winter, but they haven't given me a schedule. Once we get this awarded to them, we'll have a pre-construction meeting, you know, I guess at some point that makes sense. I don't like to have them way in advance because I don't know who the inspector is going to be. And then they lose sight of what I said at the pre-con meeting. But I'll give you guys a better feel for that once we award it to them.
Any other questions, Annalise? All right, hearing none, since we're ready to vote on resolution 2594, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2594 passes. Moving on to resolution 2595, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council accept the bid from Sargent Corporation for an amount of $689,425 for the Library Street water main improvement.
Look for a motion from the council.
I make a motion, we adopt resolution 2595.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I assume this is the same
Same deal.
line of
This
thought here.
one's a little bit different in that this was way below our bid and way below, our estimate and also below our funds. So we have plenty of funding to do it. We'll have to turn back the extra funding that we don't need. The drinking water this is a drinking water project, the water line on the library. They won't let us use the money for anything else. There's just they're not going to let us use it for any place else in town. So we do have to turn back what we don't spend, but that's okay. This is loan, so that would be the desire to only use what we need to do the projects that we want to do. So I think this is an amazing bid, really. I was very pleased, and that would also help with both the same contractor. Sargent got this low bid as well. And we might be able to use the same inspector on both projects, which is efficient for everybody. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. They kind of do them, one right after the other, so we can assign one person to this area and get it done efficiently. So,
Yep.
So I think this again is a good price for this work.
Okay. Any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2595? Hearing none, any questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2595, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2595 passes. Moving on to resolution 2596, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council revise the loan application to borrow an additional $140,000 from the DEP's CWSRF program to cover construction costs for Main Street Sewer Improvement Project for a total loan amount of $704,790.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 2596.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and this is the loan amount that we just spoke about,
Exactly.
the low interest.
Right, the 2.5%. I guess it used to be 1% and 1.5%,
Yeah.
and 2, and now it's 2.5%, but it's still less than the bond bank amount,
Sure.
the main bond.
Yep. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2596? Any questions from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2596, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2596 passes. Moving on to resolution 2597, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council move forward with the amendment number 6 for Oliver Associates Incorporated to complete survey, geotechnical and design for the previously approved resolution. Move forward with Main Street waterline replacement project with an offer of $620,000 from the DWSRF to complete design plans for over 6,000 LF of water main, which is part of the larger joint project with the Maine Department of Transportation Village Partnership Initiative.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-97.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Emily, you need to speak to this one?
Yeah, so I was here a couple months ago, and just so you're aware, you were originally offered $800,000. But the drinking water program misunderstood the application and has now declined to pay any future admin or inspection service fees. So that was, we didn't ask for that amount of money for the design, so we have to give that money back. It is a 25, you get a 25% grant with us, which is about what you guys qualify for right now. In the future, I'm thinking you will qualify for more, but with your current water rates, I know people don't want to hear that they're low, but they are pretty low. So you really only qualify for 25% grant. So the amount would drop down to the 620 that was in the resolution. And this would get you set up, if you do choose to do the water line with a design that's ready to go in with the village partnership work, as well as coordinate with them on everything that they need to have coordinated. And also I would share our survey with the design team that's doing the bigger project, and that's kind of a different type of work than what we would do. But we would share our information, which might help you with the cost of that. I'm not sure, but whatever we can do to help with that. We're starting to be concerned in other communities with the DOT's requirements. If we have a water main break in Main Street that's just had improvements done, now you have to mill 50 feet on either side of the break and pay that back in, and it's not really affordable in the budget. So we saw this as an opportunity to fix that area, you know, that water line area. It's a lot of money, I realize, but it's also a really expensive project, and I think it's gonna take a while to do. I think it's gonna be a pick up and put down thing, because it needs to be coordinated with a bigger project. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So this is another 140 on top of the 140 from the last one, or is that?
No,
the same 140?
that $140,000 that we just talked about is for a different project. That's for sewer. That's in a different, it's kind of,
So this one's an additional 100.
this is 620 to be clear. And it's in a whole different, it's the whole village partnership area. It's about 8% of the total construction cost, which is pretty standard.
And does that go towards? Like our match towards the villages?
I think it could if it's not federal. I'd have to you'd have to let me know if that matters. A lot of matches can't be federal. So we would want to tell the drinking water, the drinking water program that this can't be federal money if you need this for your match towards your project.
Beneficial to have it as the match, because then there's less cash that we would have to put.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I mean, absolutely, if we can do it, either way, we have to coordinate utilities, right? So if,
Yeah.
you know, so, we'll definitely just check on the timing. If we're doing our utility coordination design at the same time that they're doing the design for the DOT's, you know, part of the project, then you know, we'll at least be on the same, page there, and then we'll just, you know, just see if they'll allow that to be a match or not.
Right.
I don't know.
And I see this as something that's gonna require quite a few meetings, and also, them telling us to change things quite often, because that's typically how it works with those kind of projects. And, you know, we would do this, you know, to fruition until it's done, and also help you get grant funds to try to do the construction at a lesser cost than what it would be. There's no way you can afford, we talked about it when this was approved, I don't remember if you were at the meeting, but I'm like, there's no way you guys can get that water line replaced without grant. So this just gets us so that you'll be higher qualified to get grant because you have a design ready to go. And that's why you got the money for library, so, you know, readily is because you had a design.
This work could be rolled in with the village's work.
I think it should be, or yeah, I think it should be coordinated. I just think we need to talk with the group as a bigger picture discussion. We've talked about it a little bit,
So
but
we
yeah.
don't want to delay the villages. We delayed that thing long enough.
No, but like, you wouldn't need to start until we could coordinate the start times for both the DOT's design.
All right, this would all be whenever you want to do it. This is just getting a set of design plans ready and to go and to get attached to whatever they end up designing.
So the 620 is coming from,
Drinking water SRF and 25% of that is grant.
25% of the 620.
Yes, is grant. Yeah.
And how long of a window do they leave that open for us to use it?
Well, 3 years is the max. And
So-
it would, you know, but, right, so the 3 years is kind of the max. I've gotten extensions before, but they're getting a little pickier about their money being spent.
So we have time to coordinate with the DOT.
Yeah, so where's the other 450,000 coming from?
For now, all that they're gonna fund is this, and the rest to do the bigger part of the project, the actual, the construction will have to come later. That'll have to be money that we try to get for grant. Oh, as far as where does the rest come from that's not grant, sorry, I misunderstood what you
Yeah.
said. Eventually, once it's all done and closed out, it'll have to come out of the water department budget.
But it's a loan payment, right?
It would be a loan payment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But these loan payments are stacking up. Is my concern.
no, I understand,
I don't even know where we're at with the
Yeah.
amount of.
But at the same time, do you not replace the water line?
No, I know.
going through? You're kind of in a pickle, you kind of have
Yeah.
to do the water line because
Do we have time to at least find out if it can be part of our match before we throw?
if it's state money, I'm almost 100% sure it can be, but that's sure, fine, yeah.
Is it state
I
money?
think we should be.
Would it hurt us to bump it 30 days, I mean, to
No.
our next meeting, just to kind of give us some
Is
clarification?
it gonna impact?
Time to chew on that.
Doesn't impact
Yeah, I can-
anything, no.
I can ask Jared if us having this for utility coordination would be considered match.
I think that's wise. I mean, I think if that could help you with match, that goes a long ways.
Yeah,
And if it can't, then you know, and even if you don't want to do it, it's completely fine. I just was.
well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
no, now, it does make sense. Now's the time. I mean,
It's
one, it
either-
would be nice if we know whether or not it's a match. Two, I'd like to see some numbers on like you did last budget season of,
Right, what,
this is all the stuff we're borrowing, this is all the stuff we're getting grants, and this is what the impact to water and sewer rates and, cause every time, oh, well, we'll figure that out, well, sometime down the road comes around and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
get a lot of
I used
people
to
that aren't
list
too
them in
happy
the-
with their
in- Right,
sewer
now, there's
water rates.
definitely gonna be a water rate increase with Birchwood and, you know, and library, those are added together, you know, that's going to.
Right,
increase.
which we
But
kind of
we
already
talked about
assessed that during
Right, but I can give you,
budget
I can
season,
come back at the
but
next meeting and give you an idea of what that'll look like. I won't have the time to do like a complete billing analysis, but I can
No,
give you a
but-
feel for that, a
mean, I
pretty
just-
decent feel for that.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know residents really don't like to be blindsided by
I don't like.
Oh, here's
blindsiding anybody.
75% increase on your.
I know,
bill.
no, that,
Sorry about that.
yeah, that
So,
would be kind of bad.
yeah, I mean, if we can get kind of, if we're not delaying anything, you know,
There's no,
obviously
there's
we're
no
delaying a
pressure,
month,
no
but.
delay, I'm just trying to, I have the other two were easy kind of ones to get approved and move along, and I knew this one would take a little bit more, so I kind of put it back in my list of things to do as well, so there's no hurry to approve this at
Well,
all,
620,000, like, what are we thinking total project cost is gonna be on this?
like 7 million.
Choke on that.
But I know, you might have not been at that
But that-
presentation, but that's water line is super expensive right
No,
now.
I
We
know,
just did
but
one
that-
in
But that comes out of, that doesn't come out of taxation, it comes
No,
out
but I mean, I need to get grants.
Water
I
rates.
just wanna
Is it
get it
percentage?
moving so I can stand a chance to get a good grant for you guys.
Well, I mean, right now, you're coming at us with 620. I need 620,000, so I can get this grant for a $7 million job, right?
Well, I
So
understand.
we're at the beginning part of that phase, we're in the.
No, I get it. I'm at that
Just
phase.
not like tactical yesterday,
When you
right?
guys approved it at the council meeting that I brought this to, I was honestly surprised you approved it. So I'm choking on the numbers too, but I'm being honest with you with what I
Right.
think they are. I mean, we just did half that amount in Callis for
Right.
water and sewer, and it was like 6 million. So I'm not joking, stuff is ridiculous, but maybe things do bid good here. Things tend to get better pricing in Pittsfield because you attract contractors from a bigger area.
Well, probably positive on us now.
You know me better than that, I'm not usually that positive, but no, I'll come back with what it looks like for the rates with all the different things that you guys have committed to so far, and then I guess, Jack, you can check on what kind of money this has, and then I'll check with the drinking water program to make sure it can be whatever you find out needs to be.
Well, I guess one question or one point that I'd like to make is that, I mean, you're talking about being able to get grants for construction. And some of this is grant money for the design, but you can't really get a grant for construction unless you have your design done first.
Well,
You don't know what the costs are gonna be.
we don't really know what that's all gonna look like, but that was the same thing like with Library Street, we had no idea, but that was a little easier because I was able to get you a grant for the design.
Right.
It's hard to get grants for design, they don't like doing that anymore because so many people sat on those designs for so long and didn't get them done. So now they're just giving you what you qualify for naturally based on your rates, so. I'll do a little more legwork on it and see, but there's no promises on soon you can get the money, but
Right.
the sooner we start, the better chance we have of being able to succeed with the village partnership, so that's all. And if that water line's old, cast iron, it's gonna leak someday.
Well, I think it makes our village partnership project a little bit stronger as far as the commitment from the town. If the town is going into the state saying, we're gonna replace this water line when you do this other project. It's
Right.
gonna assure them that we're not gonna go back in 6 months after it's paved and be like, oh, by the way, we have to dig that up.
Yeah, that's part of why they're implementing that utility accommodation rule, which they're making you mill out 50 feet on either side of the trench.
Right.
And that's actually been in the rules for a long time, but they've never required anybody to do it. Because we've had water main leaks all over main streets and, not just here, but in a lot of other communities, and they've never made us do it. So, not gonna be good. Okay.
Yes, since this
Hey,
is the
do we-
first volley, it will get done, but people can be kind of.
Oh, no, I
Just take a little
understand.
bit.
I'll take a look at it a little more too and see if, there's any other opportunities to get some design grant too, but there's usually nothing. It's just what it
I mean,
is.
if we committed to moving forward tonight, what are we fully committing to you moving forward with the design, the whole thing?
For us doing all the survey, the geotechnical, the
Yeah.
coordination
Yeah,
with the VPI, the grant funding, all your bond bank, paperwork, staying with the project,
Right,
like we
right.
always
Yeah,
do till you're happy.
Right,
So it's,
so
yeah,
we're voting on 620,000. So,
But we kind of already voted on it already, ish.
well, you voted on 800, right?
Yeah, It says the previously approved resolution.
There's no pressure to vote on this tonight, to be clear. I have plenty to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
if
if you
you feel
can see-
comfortable with what you're doing, not do it just because,
yeah.
it's completely up to you.
See what that is, that'd be helpful again.
Yeah,
If it
definitely can find out about whether it all can match or some of it can be matched and make sure that if it can be, that it's timed right, so it would qualify.
Yeah, that's
There
fine.
was a larger portion covered when we approved the 800,000 too, wasn't
No, it was still 25, it was 25%. It was, you had an offer of 600 loan, 200 grant.
But we looked at 200 free money,
The
right?
other
Like,
project where they misunderstood the application, is this the one with?
They thought that the admin was design and the inspection like the admin and the expenses for, construction was design money, but it's not. And we didn't need that much for design, so I just communicated to them to see if I could keep it for you, so you had it for construction, but they said no. And it's happened in another community too, for Lubec, where we're doing, you know, a very large, water line job. And they did the same thing there, they just don't understand what that means, I guess.
Such a rock and a hard place, you know what I mean?
The only timeline on this is getting the paperwork, well, to the bond bank at a certain time. We already told from your direction at that council meeting, I already told them you wanted the money. But it doesn't mean you have to take the money. I'm just being clear. I can tell them, no, the town's decided not to do it. They're just not in a position to do it, just to be clear. But I did tell them you were interested, but I haven't done anything or charged you anything, or, you know what I mean? I don't until there's something that we have a contract on.
But just give you a hypothetical, let's say that, we all move forward and, we about ready to get started, and then somehow we found out there wasn't gonna be villages or whatever. You could, even though if you accepted it, you could still unaccept it, right? You could still say,
Yeah,
the
we
project's
just-
not moving forward, so you're never really locked in until you start actually doing the work and spending the money, so.
Right, and we're always fair to where if we started doing the work and you decided, well, no, this isn't gonna happen, I'm sorry, we just stop. We're not like that.
I think the opportunity to push pause to find out, get more clarification, right, to understand exactly where the money's gonna come from, where it can go. And I think that changing Fed rates should have some potential positive impact on where we are, and hopefully can drive, even if we can save a half a point on the interest rate, that's gonna be a lot of money to us, so. I think pushing a pause for 30 days, there's supposed to be at least one more drop in the Fed, in the prime rate, so.
Yeah, and to be clear, we won't have to have the rate at the time you sign, like say we signed this today, which you're not, but that's fine. It won't be today's rate, it'll be when we close on the loan. So, yes, so, Right.
A year from now.
right,
Gotcha.
right,
But we're,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
fine,
even better, right?
that's right.
yeah,
Should be,
That's right, hopefully.
hopefully.
okay, I'll come back
Uh,
with more information.
So, I mean, I'm.
Are you good with pausing it
I
for,
think we should pause. I'd like to see it pause just for 30,
That-
30 days and come back.
that what you would all like to do?
I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, just get a clear picture, right?
I mean, it's not gonna
Doesn't hurt.
impact anything.
It's not
doesn't-
impacting
It
anything,
doesn't impact a thing.
that's.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, okay, all right, and then, did you want me to talk at all about that Farm Brook thing or not this meeting, maybe if I come back in October, but I'm gonna have to start giving them information.
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, it's real quick. They're gonna replace a couple culverts on Route 11 and Route 100 of Farm Brook culverts.
Okay.
And I'm gonna help coordinate, there's a piece of water line there, 50 feet, that we're gonna have to relocate out of the way of their culvert. I'm gonna do that at no additional cost, just because I'm working here and doing a lot of other things, and I see that more as a operational thing. But if you agree, I'd like to, maybe on the next meeting, get it into the, agenda to be, to agree to go into the agreement, because I think it makes sense.
Oh, because, yeah, just like we did with the, North Main Street.
Yeah. Right,
We have
Yeah.
a conflict, right? We have a conflict we have to resolve, so we just
Right.
agree that the DOT will include that little 50 feet to get fixed when they put their bid out.
yeah, and I met with them, and there's nothing we can do about it, but to get it out of the way. So we can, I'll get that on
I
there.
remember now that you said that, I just, I'm starting.
It's quite all right, just to introduce the topic. Okay, perfect.
Great,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you, have a good night.
Yep, thank you, Emily.
Yeah,
Uh,
so I'd like to change or amend the motion to table resolution
2597.
4597, sorry.
Thank
No,
you.
you're good.
Good night.
Thank you. Drive safe.
So, we can get full information we requested.
You second that?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of tabling resolution 2597, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2597 is tabled. Moving on to resolution 2598, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council accept the bid of blank for the comprehensive plan consulting services.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 2598.
Moved and seconded. Jack, just want to speak briefly on this.
Yeah, so we put out the RFP for comprehensive planning consulting services. I think everybody has a copy of the bid tab. We received four. We have the bid tab. Um,
right there.
Many pages in. because-
Oh, is that the end?
It took me a
Oh,
while.
that's the pavement. Like 117 maybe,
117.
something like that. I see the pavement one, I don't see the,
That's the only one I have.
no, this is the pavement. That's the pavement
Oh, yeah,
management one,
you're right.
I don't,
Budget.
I didn't see the other one,
Please.
and it was, Kitchen Dog was a low bidder, right?
Yes, yeah, we'll get the bid tab. There was a big difference in bids, and so we'll talk about that.
Wait, that's a pavement management.
Yeah, no, that's not the same.
That's not even the right one.
No. I mean, it's lower than what we budgeted for.
Yeah, it's the only one that came in under our budget. We have 50,000 in the budget. It's the only one that came in within that.
Are you comfortable with KV Cog?
I'm very comfortable with them. One thing I want to kind of explain is, so when I put the RFP out, I didn't really have a good reference point, I guess, in terms of what is typical timeframe for comprehensive plan. So when I did the RFP, I did lay out like a 14-month timeline. Basically said to get started in September and have basically the process wrapped up by November 2026. And then what happens after you do a comprehensive plan is you submit it to the state. The state reviews it for a couple of months at least before they'll, approve it potentially, or kick it back and say you need to make some modifications. What KV Cog specified, the other ones kind of followed along that suit, start in September and kind of do it within the 14 months. Although some of them noted it's not typical, usually a comprehensive plan is typically 18 to 24 months. KV Cog noted the same thing. Typically, to do a comprehensive plan, you take 18 to 24 months on it. So what KV Cog proposed for actually two reasons. They proposed that they start in January and do an 18-month timeline. The biggest reason they proposed to start in January is because there was a law change that actually changes the requirements for for what comprehensive plans have to have. There's so the comprehensive planning requirements are relaxed for plans that start on January 1st or later. And so and it's basically just being able to get our comprehensive plan under the new law and not have to do it under the old rules. And so that's another reason why I think KV Cog is proposing, they're proposing what's typically, and they weren't comfortable saying that they would be able to deliver in 14 months. They are comfortable with 18 months, but they really wanted to propose it starting January 1st, so that we're under the new rules and the new law. So yeah.
Yeah, and KV Cog was $50,000 cheaper than the next bid. 30,000 versus 81. 100 was the next one, and then 125 was the one after that, so. almost significantly cheaper.
And one thing that KV cog did show, in their proposal was the other comprehensive plans that they had done. Within the last few years were all within that, that $30,000, or less. It was actually less than the 30,000. So it just showed me that they do these, they deliver them to, communities actually, larger than us. For a price range that's, within what they budgeted for. They know what they're getting into. And so I feel confident with their numbers. And I feel confident with their work, their ability to do this for us, so.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2598? Any questions from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2598, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2598 passes. Moving on to resolution 2599.
Jay, you have to fill in the blank on that?
Oh, yes, we do. Sorry. Craig, you gotta fill in the blank
Yeah, so,
of 30,000.
so I'm gonna amend the resolution, so. Make, yep, I wanna amend the resolution 2598, resolve the town council accept the bid of KV Cog for comprehensive, plan consulting services in the amount of 30,000.
Nice second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of resolution 2598 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2598 as amended has passed. Thank you, Eric. Moving on to resolution 2599. Nicole.
Resolved that the town council accept the bid of blank for the pavement management plan.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2599.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, did you wanna speak to resolution 2599?
Yeah, so,
Four bids came in.
yeah, we got 4 bids come back. I know I solicited a few more than that. I heard from one that just, would have needed more time, which I didn't think we could really give them more time, because if we're trying to get this awarded and get them started, we want to have the data collected this fall so we can have it for the next budget. So, this is what we have. I know that, I'm familiar a little bit with Sewell, not a lot, not directly, not super familiar with the other two, but they do promote their services for pavement management plans. I'm very familiar with Goral Palmer because I've worked with them in Dover. They've been doing this for like the last 8 years. They did Dover's original pavement management plan, and they're continuing to do it every year. And so they're more than capable of doing what we need, and they happen to be the low bidder as well. They're very competitive.
They're also the PPI consultant and
Yeah.
consultant for the school. So I think it just makes sense.
This is per year,
No, this will basically be a 10-year plan.
10-year plan.
Yep, and then, what we are gonna really want them to do is to kind of update it. So like, you go look at it right now, you see the conditions, and they're gonna basically do a analysis of where we stand right now. Some roads are gonna deteriorate faster, some roads might need to be reprioritized. So every year, based on the condition, you want them to take a quick peek and be like, this is what we had in mind for year 2, but is there anything maybe we want to switch out because you're seeing that this is holding up better, something else holding up worse? You want to get the overlay on there to protect a different road, things like that. So we would benefit from working with them, to a much lesser extent, maybe just sort of like making sure that we're keeping this thing current.
All right. I think that makes sense. Are there any questions from the audience regarding 2599? Hearing none, any
Got a different.
Comments from the council regarding resolution 2599? All right, Craig, can you amend
Yep.
resolution 2599?
Wait to amend resolution 2599, resolve that town council accept the bid of Coral Palmer for the pavement management plan in the amount of 35,500.
Second.
It is amended. All those in favor of resolution 2599 as amended, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, say nay. Resolution 2599 passes. Moving on to resolution 25100. Nicole.
Resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to file a notice of intent to remove an underground oil and sewage change facility or underground product piping with a main DOT pertaining to the Public Works Garage, 105 Grove Street, Pittsfield, Maine.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 25100.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, is this the diesel?
This, yeah, the tanks, this
Yeah,
would be, this would be, so the,
Diesel, right? Not oil?
Yeah.
gas, it's the fuel, it's the.
Yeah,
It's our fuel
Yep,
storage,
yep.
yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
So we've been sort of faced with, an October 2025 deadline to either recertify the tanks, which is basically rehabilitate them, or remove them. And so, I entered us into the, brownfields assessment program to basically do an assessment, which, hopefully will lead us to, fund brownfields funding for tank removal. That's the track that we're on. And so I wanted to reach out to TRC, who works for, who does this for KV Cog, to make sure that we're, communicating with the DEP that we're not just ignoring the October deadline. We're pursuing the tank removal, but they won't be out of the ground by October. And they said, fine, just file a notice of intent to remove, and then they know that that's what we're pursuing, and then it's not an issue to kind of finish this out. We're almost through the phase one, then there'll be a phase two assessment where they'll do some field testing. Part of owning tanks, maintaining tanks, is to address any soil contamination that may have resulted from being, from fuel storage. And what's interesting is that, we've been storing fuel at that site since, I think, the mid-60s. So, it's, I think, very timely that we're just addressing this, as through the brownfields program. And I think at a point where we can just make the switch. We're actually set up with WEX. We can go online whenever we want at this point. And so that's probably gonna happen sooner rather than later. So.
Good.
Excellent. And if the brownfield doesn't grant you any money, we still have the money from.
We still have the money
budget.
because we've seen quotes for tank removal, that's below our budget. So we could proceed that way. What I noticed though is when we have the quotes for the cost of tank removal, it just excludes the removal of any contaminated soil. And by doing this through brownfields, that's gonna be covered, right? We'll be, plus there's also a program at the state level where, because we've been a participant in a state program, there'd be funds, potentially funding there. So I just want to make sure that there won't be any surprises, that we will, everything will stay in budget, and hopefully even less of our budget than we may have originally thought.
Excellent.
Are the tanks already empty?
We're,
I mean, we probably don't want to take them right down, because it's probably sludge and stuff in the bottom, but.
what our plan is to not order any more fuel. So I think I think we've probably put our last fuel order in. I think we've probably got a few weeks of diesel left. But like I said, we could start with WEX anytime. And so I think, that's, if there's any more fuel orders going in, it's probably, you know, one or two, but I think we may not need to even do that.
Has that been off-road or on-road that's been stored there? You know,
I would have to check.
yeah, I just. Cause I'm assuming that's going on every piece of equipment that we use. It just would be interesting if we're putting on road, you know, an extra 55 cents a gallon into a piece of equipment versus in a yard. There's, you know, I just thinking about long-term the savings that we have there too, because I think that's probably what's happening, so.
But we can, and I'm pretty sure do get a fuel tax reimbursement, right, from diesel, so.
You get that based on mileage though, right? Is that based on mileage?
It's based on gallons,
Is it based on gallon?
yeah. But if we, but I think if we use the off-road, then we just don't, it's just a wash, it's gonna save us paperwork if we use the off-road.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience or the council regarding resolution 25-100? Hearing none, it says we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 25-100, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 25-100 passes. Nicole, can you read resolution 25-101?
Resolved the town council approve a renewal application for a liquor license for the Spastic Valley Lodge of Elks at 140 Middle Street, Pittsfield, Maine, 04967.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 25-101.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is self-explanatory. Are there any questions from the audience? Any questions from the council? Hearing none, and since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 25-101, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 25-101 passes. Nicole, can you read resolution 25-102?
Resolved that the town council approve a renewal application for a special amusement permit for the Spastic Valley Lodge of Elks at 140 Middle Street, Pittsfield, Maine, 04967.
Look for a motion from the council.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 25-102.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Pretty self-explanatory again, just a housekeeping thing. Any questions or comments from the audience or the council regarding resolution 25-102? Hearing none, and since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 25-102, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 25-102 passes. Moving on to resolution 25-103, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council designate Jack Loki, town manager, as the official voting delegate for the Maine Municipal Association's annual business meeting.
Look for a motion from the council.
I make a motion, we adopt resolution 25-103.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So just a housekeeping thing.
Yeah, the Maine Municipal Association has their convention in October, second week, and they have an annual business meeting, and they just have towns file who the voting delegate is, so you're gonna have two people from the same town. One town, one vote, that's
That's a
principle.
crazy idea.
Basic principle, yeah.
All right, any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-103? Any questions from the council? Hearing none, and since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 25-103, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 25-103 passes. Moving on to item number 10, discussion items. Are there any public comments this evening? Yes, ma'am. Can you come up and state your name and where you're from?
Lucy Treadwell, I live in Pittsfield. From 2014 through 2019, I was a volunteer at the Trash to Treasures Reuse Center. People still run into me and associate me with it, wondering what's happened. We need it. They really want it to be opened. So I did start a petition asking the town to reopen it, which I would like to read.
Sure.
Petition to Jack Kluge, Town Manager, Pittsfield. Please reopen the Trash to Treasures Reuse Center. We, the undersigned citizens of Pittsfield, ask that the reuse center, a vital town resource, be reopened to resume operations which ceased in 2019 after 7 years of running, when COVID prevented opening in 2020. In 2019, an estimated $25,000 was saved when 117 tons of throwaways were taken from the reuse center instead of ending up in a landfill at town expense. Emergency responders use their 24/7 access to the reuse center as a quick resource for basic furnishings and small necessities for house fire victims more than once. Besides these contributions to the town, Trash to Treasures also serves as an informal community center, particularly for Pittsfield's approximately 1,000 citizens aged 60 plus to socialize and engage with community, proven to boost mental health and longevity. Trash to Treasures promotes a town spirit of resourcefulness and creativity. Rather than being thrown in a landfill, discarded items find new life with those who can use and enjoy them in utilitarian ways and in creative upcycling projects. The town received a grant from T-Mobile for $23,000 for upgrades, repairs, and improvements to the reuse center building, which now has a brand new roof and will have heat pumps, allowing it to be open year-round, among other plans. There is a committee in place and numerous volunteers ready to take over running the center. It is practically turnkey at this point, ready to serve the town and its citizens. Citizens have been saving items to donate and are eager to do so. It just needs an opening day. We, the undersigned citizens of Pittsfield, ask you not to delay opening the Trash to Treasures Reuse Center any longer. I have 195 signatures that were gathered over a month and a half, which
Excellent.
I would like to.
Yep.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did want Don Shute to make some comments about what exactly needs to be done and how much it would cost, estimate. Like the grant doesn't cover certain things that are needed to be done.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think in Jack's town manager's report, we gonna do an assessment and see what needs to be done to get it open. Obviously, we don't wanna open it and have anybody get hurt, or if there's any kind of mold or mildew in there that needs to be taken care of.
it's my interest.
Certainly want that taken care of before we expose,
Right.
you know, the public to any of that, so. Certainly see the need for it and, you know, appreciate all the work that you've done in the past and I don't think the council has any heartburn over opening it. You just gotta see, you know, gotta take the right steps and make sure everybody's safe and
Great,
that, you know, we can open it, hopefully. Depending on the amount of money that needs to go into it, but. You know, we'll certainly look into it and we can let everybody know.
great.
I know that you've done a lot of work circulating the petition and. Obviously, there's a support for it, so,
Great.
yep, appreciate
Thank
it. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Are there any other comments from the audience this evening? None, councilors, Pete?
No report.
Excellent. Greg?
No report.
No report. Heather?
I would just,
say thank you to the lady that brought the, the petition.
You can wait.
We don't like that.
Thanks for everybody that's, you know, showed support. It's definitely something that, people have continually said that they want to see back again, and it has a certain place in the town or community as well as savings on our trash. And Donnie has spoken before about, the amount of volume of things that can go through there. I would support that as well, that we get it open as soon as possible, and look forward to the report after the assessment's done. I'd also note that we had the Main Cheese Festival on Sunday. It was a beautiful day, the showers held off, and we had over 1,400 attendees come and enjoy the park. And it's, you know, it's really a way to kind of show up the parks of Pittsfield, to have people from a lot of people from out of town come in and see the beautiful park. And many people remark on what a wonderful location it is to have the event. We had about 23 cheesemakers and almost 50 other food vendors. And a last minute addition was the Bijou Theater Enrichment Groups was able to come down. They made popcorn and talked to people and had a booth. So that was some nice exposure for their project, and they were appreciative of that as well. So extra thanks to the Manson Park Committee and the crew that keeps the park looking so nice. Pittsfield PD came down and provided parking assistance and just moral support and supervision. And then also MCI plays a huge role. Jason Allen once again organized a whole crew of athlete students to help with the parking as well. So that's very much appreciated, and we thank them for their efforts.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. Bob?
No report.
No report. Eric?
No report.
And I too have no report. So I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Maybe we'll adjourn.
Second.